Good evening, YouTube. This is Kaylin Strain coming at you with a long-awaited ration review. There may be a few others who have done this particular ration, but I saw this on eBay from Rations and More, and I'll put the link to his eBay store down there so you can go check his inventory out. But this is the Polish Firefighter's ration supper, but I just noticed, I realized on the front it says C2, and on the one it says, on the back, on this side it says 1C, but I believe I'm not sure how they, I'm not sure if it's like this is, the C is like the menu category, their menu division, and 2 or 1 or whatever would be the actual menu number for this particular ration. Usually these are issued in sets of 3, a breakfast, lunch, and supper bag to Polish firefighters who are doing either forest fires, grass fires, other remote wildfires. I'm guessing that's how these are issued. And also this has a production date of November 28 of 2017, but it doesn't have a best by date, so I don't know if it wore off or what, but this is a pretty heavy plastic. There's no tear knots, so I decided to pull out my little EDC blade, which is this CRKT pillar, which I won in a giveaway last year. So I'm going to cut this open from the back. This little thing has done its job, so it goes away. And first thing I'm going to go ahead and pull out is the main, which does not have a label on it, but it is spaghetti and meat sauce or meatballs. It's those foil cans that are similar to what's in Russian rations, and it's a 400-gram main entree, and here is the ration heater with a pretty good sized pad. And because these take some time, there's a piece of tape on here which I would pull up to close the bag. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and get this thing going. Before I get anything else out of the bag, because I want to have sufficient time for this thing to heat up, and there's a fill line right there. I'm going to go ahead and pour some water in there. I did not get any salt like I sometimes do with the ration heaters. Let's see how well this thing works without adding salt. I'll go ahead and take the tape. This tape mangled itself, so there we go. And I got the tape on there. I will set that there, let it do its thing. I'll pull out the rest of the items. This is what I'm excited about. I did not get this chocolate bar in the other Polish ration that I did, the SW1H. But this is the chocolate bar that gets everybody excited. Dark chocolate, as it says right there in English. I love dark chocolate. This is a big bar. I'm definitely excited to get into that. Here is a water pouch that is included in here, 45 mils, which is just a little bit under what I put in the ration heater bag. And it says hot pack, not for drinking, so this is probably salt water. But this thing is already going. This thing is already heating up, so. Then here is the accessory packet. It kind of came out together. There's also a cutlery set with a fork and a spoon and a little knife. And the last thing out of the bag is a large packet of crisp bread. And accessory packet is in zip bags, which is handy. There is vitamin C candy. There's salt and pepper. A long stick of chewing gum, like what was common back in the 80s and 90s before the small chiclet style gum that's popular today. There's a thin plastic bag which could be used for trash. It's not a zip bag. It's still very handy. This is a 10-gram packet of sugar. There is a loose tea bag. There's another 10-gram packet of sugar. And this is chicory coffee. I like chicory coffee. I haven't had it in quite a while, so this will be good. And speaking of, I'm going to go ahead and mix up the coffee. There is no creamer or whitener. Oh, that smells good. Fine powder. And I will put the tea bag in my drinking jar that I've had for many years. And I will only use one packet of sugar because I can split it in between the coffee and the tea. Sorry about that. My big old foot kicked my tripod. I'll be right back with the hot water for the coffee and the tea. Oops. I'll use my 4N MRE spork to fish the bag tag out of here. That is the tea and the coffee all mixed up. And I'm just going to put my trash in the bag that the Ration originally came in. Because I'm using my 4nmre.com spork, I will I will save these for another time. I'm going to go ahead and open up the crisp bread. There is no jam or other spread to go along with the crisp bread. I think I'm going to cheat. This wrapper is pretty tough. So, unlike the military rations, this one seems to be the main bulk of the calories seems to be with this crisp bread and the main entree and the chocolate. I will take just a few of these out for now. Some of them have broken, but these are somewhat fragile, but this is a close-up of the crisp bread. And the tape is come detached from the bag, so this thing is doing pretty good. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pause this and wait till this finishes heating up. I'm going to give this about 10 or so minutes, and then I will be back. I've decided to go ahead and come back, and this vitamin C candy, it looks like it could be a green apple, or it could be a lime or other citrus. I'm trying to remember what I've seen other reviewers doing these Polish rations say what this green wrapper was, but it's going to be good because I like the other vitamin C candy that was in the first Polish ration I did a few months ago. And I moved my tea up against this to hold the flap down of the bag, and I also flipped the can inside the heater bag to get the other side sufficiently warmed up. Now I'm going to open up this big thing. That has already snapped, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and snap it again. There appears to be a little bit of bloom on it, but inside it's nice and super dark brown. I'm going to go ahead and take a sample of this crisp bread. And it breaks very easily. It's very light. It reminds me of the lightness of some rice cakes, or at the puff corn, not the flavor of course, but the airiness of it, you know, the lightness of it, but it's definitely wheat. These are actually good enough by themselves. These are so fragile that it would be difficult to put any kind of a spread on them. So personally, I think these are good enough by themselves. They kind of remind me of the flavor of the Wassa crackers or crisp breads that you can buy in grocery stores, and I used to buy them a lot. I haven't lately because they're just a little too, either they don't have the flavors I want, or I'm just not in the mood for it, or I just don't want to pay the high price for it. But then again, I paid some bucks for this ration, but I think this is worth it. I'm gonna take a sip of this coffee. It's not too bitter. It's got a little bit of bitterness, but that's okay. It's a natural chicory coffee. It mixed well, and I put the right amount of sugar in it. Don't want this too sweet, and it's just nice tasting coffee. And I'd prefer to put creamer in it, but I'm not going to get any this time. I'm just going to drink it as is. I'm going to go ahead and get my tea bag out of here. I think it has been in here long enough. Just a nice smooth tea. It's not too strong. Just good black tea. It's the same tea that I had in the other Polish ration that I've done. And I'm going to go ahead and take a nibble on this chocolate because I've been so excited to see this chocolate. And I know Nina and Art, you love this stuff too. I know you do. Wow, that is some good chocolate. This is the good stuff. Whoever decided to put these chocolate bars in the rations for Arpol, the company that packs the Polish rations, they did good with this one. It's not super high in cocoa content, but it's not too low to be just milk chocolate. This is a nice dark chocolate. And any firefighter out on the hot lines working their dupa off to try to put out a fire, but definitely enjoy this as a treat. I will wait till the end to open up this candy. I think I'm going to go ahead and pull this thing out of here. This thing is still pretty darn hot. I did not hear it really make any noise, but it got hot. moving my chocolate off because I don't want it to melt from the heat of the entree can. It has a pull tab here, and I'm bringing the sides up to make it easier to pull the foil top off. This might take some doing. There we go. Takes a little Polska persuasion. This is very, very dense in here. Just up in the can like that. Easiest way to get it out onto my very old Tupperware tray that I have had for many years. I've taken it on picnics when the organizers say that we had to bring our own utensils and dishware, and it has done me well over the years. I'm going to move back my tea and coffee so you can get a better look at it. The spaghetti is very, very tightly bunched up, so I'm mixing it up to try to get the sauce incorporated into the noodles. And it looks like it's meat sauce and not meatball, so it's like spaghetti and meat sauce, like you might get in a can from a grocery store. And the sauce doesn't have a whole lot of red color to it. But there's definitely some herbs in there. Here it goes. I'm going to turn that just a little bit. There we go. Wow, that's pretty darn good. I do not need to add any seasoning to it. For me, this is perfect as is. There's a lot of beef in here. Noodles are a bit soft, but they've been sitting in a tightly packed can for almost a year. It's very, very fine ground meat, but it is there. I can definitely taste it. And I am going to dedicate this ration review to all the firefighters out there in the west coast of the US and Canada who are working their buns off trying to stop these big old wildfires from destroying more property and killing more people and wildlife. So my parents did volunteer firefighting work in Arkansas, and I'm subscribed to a channel, and the guy who runs that channel is a woodland firefighter himself. So in addition to doing his regular YouTube stuff on his homesteading channel, he will get the call to go to various places either in his state or elsewhere if extra manpower from outside that area is needed to go fight these big fires. And because he manages a forest on his property, he knows what different trees will act like when they burn, and he packs the right tools and gear and clothing to go do the job. So anyway, this is for all those firefighters out there working their buns off in the heat and lack of rain to put these fires out. So this is some very tasty spaghetti. I do like this. It would be nice if the noodles were a little bit firmer, but they're not extremely mushy. They're not just dissolving in my mouth when I eat them. I'm going to go ahead and open up this candy. So, yep, it is a green color. Spread the label out, spread the wrapper out. It's hard to tell by the wrapper, but I think this is going to be green apple. Nope, I'm actually getting a very sweet lime flavor. More citrus than apple, but I like these candies. I'm kind of bummed they didn't have the coffee candy, but you want one of those, you have to get a Polish military ration. those will have those in there. But makes up for it with this really delicious coffee and this super delicious chocolate. So again, I got this from Rations and More. I'll put the link for his eBay store down below so you can go check out his stuff. And this sport is from foreignmra.com, so I give them a shout out. I have a Russian ration that I got from them that I will be reviewing later on this month, so gonna get 2 ration reviews out of me this month. I was only gonna do the Russian one, but when I saw this Polish Firefighter's ration, spaghetti and meat sauce, that's beef, I just went for it. This is something you don't find a whole lot. Some of the other Polish Firefighter rations have pork in their entrees, and because I do not eat anything pig, I take a pass on them. So that limits the kinds of rations I will go for. But this one here, it's a winner in my book. If you can get this one, if Rations and More still has some available, or if you find them anywhere else, go for it. And be thankful for firefighters around the world who put their lives on the line to save our lives, our property, and the environment. So again, thanks for watching, and catch you on the flip side.